Hello, my name is Julia Lambourne. I'm the Associate Dean Education for the Faculty of Engineering. I'm here today to introduce the new CPD program to you. Your future employers are looking for more than just technical skills. They require graduate engineers who have good communication skills, time management, can work as a part of a team, show leadership when required, and reflect on their performance to improve for the future. The CPD program is here to assist you to develop these and other employability skills in a structured way. Our CPD program builds on the Student Futures platform and provides a professional framework for you to identify categories of activities that will provide you with the skills that you need. In Student Futures, you will log your hours for each activity, identify the skills you developed, and then reflect on your experience in Moodle. It's really important to realise that we as a faculty don't stipulate what you can and cannot claim as a CPD activity within those broad categories. You should explain in your reflections why you've chosen this activity and how it's helped you to develop the additional personal and professional skills. So what will CPD mean for you as a graduate engineer? This is an online record of your work, your volunteering, your personal and professional skills and their development throughout your degree. It will respond directly to industry's requirement for you to be more than technically excellent. It will show your development and understanding of these important professional skills you need to be successful in industry. So enjoy your journey throughout your engineering degree, and I hope you get a lot out of the rest of this CPD session.
Again, welcome. If you've come in and didn't grab the sheets at the door, please make sure you grab yourself a copy of those. My name is Matt Bevis. My manager down the front here is Zara, and Rahman is also here as well from Student Futures. We're going to present you with, I'll give you first some information slides. Rahman will talk you through a live demonstration of the site. We'll play a video showing the Moodle component, and then we'll have some questions and answers at the end. So thank you for coming. All right. We've heard some concerns, legitimate concerns from students who are concerned about what's involved with the CPD, and we feel that some of those concerns can be put to rest. So I'll start with some of those in case that's what's eating away at you. First of all, students think that it's a new compulsory requirement for all engineering students starting this year. While that is mostly true, there is an exception. If you are due to complete your course at the end of semester 1 this year, it does not apply to you. Is there anybody here? No? All right, good. I would have kicked you out. It would have been great. No, all right. The second concern is that if you don't pass your CPD, you don't graduate. Again, that is technically true, but the truth is if you don't pass your CPD on the first submission, you are given the opportunity to resubmit it before it impacts your graduation date. So you don't need to worry about that quite as much as you may have. That it's not available yet, and in fact it is available right now, and we'll show you that later. That you have hundreds of hours to complete. Also true technically, but students in second year and up have been given a pro rata minimum amount of CPD hours to complete, so it's not as bad as you might be thinking it is. That it has to be made up of engineering-based activities, which are hard to come by in large quantities. Well, it's not only that, it's on non-engineering based activities as well, and even coursework that you've done in your course. And there are limits to those, and we'll touch on those as we get to it. And the last one I have here is that activities must be undertaken from this point on, no matter how much time you have left in your course. Naturally, that wouldn't be fair. It applies to anything you've done since your first day as a Monash student through till you're ready to graduate. So any activity you've done in that time, retroactively as well as what's to come, can be applied. So what is CPD? As Julia touched on in the video, it's an online record of your work, your volunteering and your professional and personal skills development. It has a minimum number of hours, like I said, depending on your course completion date. There is no maximum number of hours, and we strongly urge you to put in as many as you can over above the minimum requirement. It'll look much better when you're going for jobs. And that it, as I say, runs for the duration of your degree, including retrospectively. What is a CPD submission? It's basically made up of 3 steps. There's the activity, which includes what and where it was, the number of hours you spent at that activity, and a contact person's details. The skill or skills that you developed at that activity, or exercised. They are written to reflect the Engineers Australia competencies, so that's what they want to get out of graduates. And then the reflection that you write about the skill that you got at that activity in a kind of journal-y type of format, the STAR method of describing what you did. So you can see it's three generally logical progression steps there. The benefits, again, Julia touched on that, is what industry is looking for. Industry wants, for people coming out of a uni course, they don't just want students who have done very well in their classes and nothing more. They want people who have got skills from outside the classroom, from various aspects, particularly if it can be engineering related, but even if it is not. It will set Monash students apart from other job seekers. Anyone from other universities, engineering graduates from other universities, won't have what you're going to have here, and other universities have tried are sniffing around at trying to get it from Monash, and Monash won't let them have it because it gives you an edge. It will provide you with strong networking opportunities, as you'd already be aware if you've done any kind of engineering-based work in the industry. You'll find out that you're learning people and places and things that are helping you, and that it's good for this to prompt you to do that a bit more. It'll enhance your personal and professional skills, because that's the actual point of CPD, but it will also give you an impressive addition to your CV. There is going to be a report that will come out at the end, very end, the conclusion of everything you've done with CPD, and that front page of that report is going to have all your totals and things. So assuming you've done more than the minimum, it will look very impressive to include in your CV if you wish to include it. And finally, and possibly something that people aren't necessarily aware of, the reflections you write, you can draw on those throughout your course and at the end as well to revise your own words, your own experiences of things before you go into a job interview or to get a job, vacation work while you're still a student. So anything that you want to write about where you've developed a skill on conflict resolution in the workplace, if you've written that 3 years ahead of the job interview you're in and someone there asks you, describe an example of when you have diffuse a volatile situation in the workplace, you won't necessarily remember enough detail on that spot from 3 or 4 years earlier when you did that in your work experience. But if you've just reread your own words from that time, just before you went into the room, you'll have that stuff on recall, and it will be very helpful. This is where I'm going to skip past this. This site that's how the site looks, but it's old. I might get this up instead. Is it this one? Here we go. So this is how the site looks at the moment, and will be rolled out in the next few days, looking like this. You see over here you've got two progress wheels. One is for your hours and one is for the reflections that you'll be writing. Down here, along here, are all the skills that I'm talking about. There are 19 in total, that matter which year level, how much time you have left. 19 is required for you to submit. 3 of this one and 2 of every other. And once you fill in more and more of those, of course, that comes up to 19. The hours to 420. A note on that, the hours will always say 420 as the target. That's the, again, minimum target, but it's obviously not what everybody has set as their minimum target. It's what the site says. If you are a second-year student and only have 210 hours to get to that minimum, then your starting point will be 210, leaving you with 210 to get to the minimum. Does that make sense? It's only the minimum, but it's not going to look unfair. If it says 420 and I thought I had 105, that means you'll already have 315 given to you before you go in. 105 is the difference. So down here, as we get further down, you'll see different categories here. The curriculum, engineering curriculum, professional development, and so on. Every one you select shows you, and this is only the one that I can select, it's only got anything in it, will bring up here the activities that you've done that so far that you've entered that show you these hours. And here's the dummy data that's been entered at this point to show 81 hours have been completed. 91 submitted, which means there's a difference of 10 hours that have not yet completed the process of the skill reflections. Once they have, they'll move over here and this will say 91, and then this will grow as well. Okay, so that's basically how that looks. Rahman, I'll let Rahman talk through that more when he steps up. Okay, so the CPD activities themselves, what counts? What is a CPD activity? What counts for the hours? It's basically any activity that you have participated in while you've been a Monash student that has provided you with personal and professional skills development. And there's some of those skills I just showed you on the other screen. That's 6 of them there. Communication and teamwork are examples that are fairly commonly understood. The others you might need to do some reading on, but that's okay. anything that you've done, it doesn't matter if it's engineering and it doesn't matter if it was last year, as long as you're a minor student last year, then that will be applicable. The responsibility, and this is important, is on you, the student, not on us, the faculty, for you to explain in your written reflections how the activity has contributed to the development of your skills. You come to us and say, is this a CPD activity? We're going to say, did you develop any of those skills in it? And you'll say, yeah. And we'll say, well, then yeah. And you didn't need to come to us. You can enter yourself, and so long as you provide in the reflection how you develop those skills, then it's CPD eligible by default. Some examples. As you know, two components, engineering and non-engineering. And here are lots of things you do not need to memorise. The top one, though, is the most important one, for most preferred by us and most preferred by you if you can get it. Engineering-related work experience. If you can get 12 weeks of that, that is 420 hours as we work it out. So that could potentially be all you needed to hit that minimum target hours amount. Again, doesn't mean you stop there. You put everything else in you've done as well, but it would at least mean the hours part has been satisfied. I know I'm eligible to graduate. You just have 19 reflections and skills you need to draw out of that experience or other experiences, and then you'll be totally home and hosed as far as the minimum requirement is concerned. Other things there, though, as you can see, lots of things. Engineering Without Borders, that's all engineering related. If you've got an engineering role in a non-engineering company, that's also counted as engineering work, because that's fair. You are doing engineering stuff. Non-engineering stuff there, as you can see, would be anyone's work experience in whatever business you're in, whatever company you work for. That counts. But as far as counting towards the minimum requirement, only 50% of that minimum requirement can be from non-engineering areas. And here we have some examples. I'll point to the far screen, if I can get that to work. There we go. This 70 hours over here, that's for curriculum work. That is a cap no matter what year level you're in. So first year students, final year students, you all claim 70 hours and no more towards the minimum requirement that are coming from uni work that you've done. That doesn't mean you only put in 70 hours worth. You can put in all as much as you want to spend the time filling in the skills and reflections about. Feel free to go crazy about that. Realistically crazy. But 70 hours is as much as will count towards the minimum requirement that you've got to meet. And here, in this example of 420 being the maximum, the minimum, 210 is the maximum for non-engineering, regardless of which area it falls under here, you'll see. So that will make more sense as you get more into it and you're entering things more and more. You'll really get familiar with that. I know I'm giving a lot of numbers, minimums and maximums and things, but it will become understandable as you go. Do we have any final year students here? Are you the ones who are most concerned because you think you've got to do 420 hours by the end of the year, and that's been the concern perhaps? Hopefully not, or hopefully not anymore anyway. You'll see that final year students who are completing either the end of this year or the beginning of next, 105 hours is required. That's about 3 weeks worth. You can still apply everything that you've done over the years you've been a Monash student. It's still applicable. You have fewer to get to as a benchmark. So you'll be given 315 hours as the pro rata invisible group when you go in, and it'll give you 105 to make up the difference. We understand that you've got less time available to you to enter all this stuff in, so we've been fair about it. And as you go down and have more time available left in your course, it goes all the way up to the maximum. 420 will be the amount going forward. So how do you pass? You won't need to do this yet, and I actually encourage you not to get into this part yet, because everything that you've got to do in the year ahead, even those who are on their final year, everything ahead of you will still be eligible to be entered, and you don't want to complete this and not be able to add in stuff that you're still going to be doing. So wait until you've entered everything into CPD that you intend to enter. When you have, you'll be able to click a button that will download the report that includes all the hours, all the activities, all the skills, and all the reflections that you have done. In that report, the PDF, you'll download that from Student Futures, and then you'll take it to Moodle, where there will be an assessment piece of 6 questions waiting for you. You can actually see them now. They're no secret. You can be preparing for them from day one if you wish. Some of it gets you to draw on your experiences, so if you haven't yet entered any reflections into Student Futures, it'll be hard for you to prepare those answers yet, but it can be something you can be working towards as you go. We're not going to spring it on you at the end and catch you unawares. So between the 6 assessment questions that you'll have answered there and the PDF you'll have downloaded, You'll put them up into Moodle and submit it. It's as simple as that. And then an academic will assess it and get back to you. Okay, so going forward, as I've said, we're going to have a question time at the end of this, so I don't mean for today, but if you have questions in the year or years ahead, then there's certain ways you can find answers to those. You can start with any of these if you wish. Ask Monash. Monash Connect and Student Services are going to have a general idea and understanding of CPD. It's been rolled out for them. There's also our website, which would make good sense to go and see if what you want to know is already up there. In particular, our FAQs, which are ever growing. So they will be different from one day to the next. We're adding more in there as we get more frequently asked questions asked of us frequently. And then there's also the contact information on a different tab of the website. If you've really got something that's complicated, the people in those top areas can't really help you because it's too unique and complicated, and it's not in the FAQs. There's a contact information there for you to send a question through for individual response. So that's all of that. I'm going to hand over now to Roman to show you the site. Then I'll play a video for the Moodle bit, and we'll do Q&A after that.
Sure. Mic'd up here. Thank you. All right. Hello, I'm Roman. I'm from the Student Futures team, and I will start off with a video too. We've all brought our videos today.
Hi there, welcome to Student Futures. Now, you might be wondering what Student Futures is all about. Student Futures is a fantastic tool that has the power to give you an edge in the employment market. Every year, thousands of graduates compete with each other for jobs, so it's important that you stand out from the crowd. Employers look for well-rounded candidates who, in addition to their university qualification, have a range of other skills. Employability skills like professionalism, teamwork, communication and intercultural competence, for example, are highly valued across all industries. So how can Student Futures help you and why should you use it? Student Futures provides you with a platform where you can develop, track and identify the employability skills you're building during your time at Monash. Use Student Futures to draw out examples of where you're developing skills in your course, like a group presentation or study abroad experience, or where you're developing skills by participating in other Monash activities like being an Open Day ambassador or undertaking a leadership development program. You can also use examples of skills you're developing outside of Monash that employers value, such as paid employment, volunteering, or being a member of a club. On the Student Futures platform, you can add the skills you've developed to each activity you've participated in through a simple reflection process. And then, when you're ready to look for a job, you can download a summary of your experiences to help with job applications and interviews. Now, you might be thinking, but I haven't done anything yet. Well, you probably have, and the Student Futures platform will help you identify the skills you're developing and also enable you to search amongst hundreds of activities to participate in at Monash to build your skills. There are also heaps of resources to support you, including profiles of the pathways of recent graduates who are now working in careers you may aspire to. And of course, the dedicated staff at Career Connect are keen to work with you to assist in establishing your Student Futures profile and answer your career-related questions. So when you apply for a job or go for a job interview, with all this at your fingertips, you'll be able to confidently and clearly tell an employer why you really do stand out from the crowd. Student Futures is easy to use, so let's get started.
All right, there you go. Excellent. So, anyone used Student Futures before? Anyone has logged in onto the platform and had a look at it or used it? Have you heard of Student Futures before you walked into this room? Yep, very good. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the platform and show you how to add an activity after you've done, let's say, work experience, for example. But before I do that, I'll show you just a few other things. So Student Futures has been designed not just for engineering students, but for all Monash students. And as Matt said, just to give you an advantage in the job market, because you might be applying all in here for probably the same job, but only one person obviously will get it. So we wanted to make sure we give you a tool that you stand out from the crowd. And Student Futures is that tool. So look at it like, it's like your diary, pretty much what you do in terms of your personal development. And there on the platform, there is information, but also inspirational things on there that will help you to be more prepared for when you go for job interviews and to look better than your neighbor. So what you can do here, for example, we've got all the different skills that we've defined. We got those skills from, we talked to a lot of employers, and they said, if we're looking for someone, that's the skills we're looking for. As we mentioned, a degree nowadays alone, it's not enough anymore. You need those soft skills. You can go in here and read more about it. And if you're too lazy to read, there's videos. Just look videos. And they're really good. Different employers talking about those different skills and why they're important in the business. Also, prepare page, information about resumes. You can do interviews using your webcam. That's pretty cool. And obviously very important, Career Connect. So any career related questions, go and see Career Connect. They're great and they can help you with that. There's also volunteering opportunities, and there's also news and other resources that might be very helpful. And for your inspiration, we've got profiles of recent graduates. You can go in there, like let's see, Tina. Again, you can read. If that's not your thing, just telling you about her course and how she gained her skills and how she got there. So really, really good stuff. Okay, now the information and how to add an activity. I'm using a test account, so if I go in here, my course, I don't have any information. You will see all the course information in here that you can select if you want to add an activity, something you've done in your course, let's say group presentation. If you want to add an activity that you participated in a club, let's say, you were president or the secretary of a particular club. The clubs and societies, they can log and will log their profiles in here, and then you can select from here. Let's say you've been, the Roberts Hall vice president. You can, if you're interested to see what that is, you can actually first you can go in there and have a look what it is and what skills you might develop through the activity. You can also go find out more, so you get to their website and find out what they do. You can add it to your favorites if you want to come back to a later point. So it also gives you a good overview, what clubs are here. You've got filters you can apply. I want to develop communication skills within, I'm interested in sports. Then you get a selection of what programs and clubs and societies are available at Monash that will help you to develop certain skills. All right, and all your extracurricular activities that are logged in here. So let's say we've done an internship for a few weeks or so, and we are going to log this activity now and the skills we've developed through this activity. So we go in here, because it's not a Monash related activity. Let's try again, add activity. Oh, sorry. There you go, scroll down. Big plus here, add the activity. All right, now what did we do? So we did an internship. There's one here already. And what have you done in this internship? You can, put in there whatever you'd like to. Then you select whether it's a non-engineering or engineering work related experience. So that's an engineering work experience. And then you claim how many hours you've worked there. So let's say we've done 100 hours with them. You provide us with the company details, who, the person was in there, the phone number, and you can have to select an email address there. Okay, now you can either, you have to run off, go somewhere, you can save and exit, and then come back and reflect on it later. So the activity will then be sitting there waiting for you to add skills, or you start your reflection. There you go. Okay. Now, you might know, all right, I've developed some great communication skills there. I want to reflect on those ones. If you're not quite sure which skill you want to reflect on, or the activity you did, which skill it falls under, you can go, I'm not quite sure. Go next. And it will give you an option of different scenarios that will then determine which skill you're looking for. If you don't like any of those questions, you can go retry, and then it'll refresh it, and you get some more questions. Let's say this one describes a situation where you were able to contribute to innovative outcomes. You press on that one, go next, and then the system says, you might be reflecting, or it's this skill here, initiative and enterprise. If you think, yeah, that's exactly the skill I want to reflect on, you go next. You can also see up here your progress you're making. So one more step to go, you go next. Also, if you're not happy with this skill, then you just go, try again, and you can add another skill. All right. Now, that's your reflection process on that skill, and what you learned, and how you learned it, and how it will benefit you later on. You can learn here more about the skill again, what it actually means. You've also here got an example, what it might look like. Again, you can write as much or as less as you like to, and you've got the information buttons here. Backstory, just so you know what we're kind of asking for. Again, I just put in some text. How's the outcome here? All right, and if you're all happy with that, you go to submit, and you did a reflection on that particular skill. If you want more, you go in here again, and it's the same process over and over again. So it's pretty straightforward. And we don't want to do that. Okay. All right. And as you can see, before that we had 181 and 8 skills here, and that's now gone up to 281 hours, and we've reflected on 9 skills now. All right. And let's see where that reflection and that activity is. So it's internship at ABB. You can go in here for your reflection, and then again here you can write just a little note for yourself. Why was it important to reflect on that particular skill? You can add another skill here. You can also go in here and edit the text here if you're not happy with it. You can delete it, the reflection, or you can delete the whole activity for whatever reason you want to do that. Okay, it will also give you, as I said, it's like a little a diary that you can use. This button, if I click here, you'll get something that looks like that. Again, that's just dummy data we put in, but it shows you all your activities and all the skills, and whatever you put in there will be available to you. So I mean, it's really a great data for yourself when you go somewhere and walk into a job interview. And as Matt said as well, once you reached your 420, you will be prompted with a download button where you can download your CPD certificate, and then you go through Moodle for the next steps, and we'll see how that works in a minute. All right.
Thank you, Roman. Just get back into here. I'm going to, as I said, play a video from Luke, who's going to talk us through the assessment piece and how that works. It's fairly simple.
Hi, and welcome to the introduction on how to use the Continuous Professional Development Department's Moodle website. This site contains 5 important sections. The first section, Key Information and Assistance, contains a link to vital information for CPD and frequently asked questions, contact information if you have any further inquiries, and a link to your department's announcements. The next 4 sections are vital, and you need to do this to complete your CPD. The first step is to complete your CPD assessment questions 1 to 6. You will need to download and complete the questions, and upload the completed questions into Turnitin. The next section requires you to upload your Student Futures documentation. The first step is to download your unique CPD completion certificate and then to upload that document. Step 3 requires you to download your My Reflections PDF and then to upload that into Turnitin. Step 3 requires you to upload a single PDF that contains your supporting documents in chronological order relating to your CPD activities. And step 4 is the finalisation of assessment questions and required documentation to be reviewed by your department. Please note, you must complete steps 1 to 3 before attempting this section, and once completed, you will not be able to update or modify the documentation you have uploaded. Once you are ready, click on Submit Your CPD Record to be reviewed by your department, start the quiz, read the statement, and if you wish, click on I accept the student statement and wish to have my CPD record to be reviewed. Click on Finish Attempt. Click on Submit All and Finish. Click Submit All and Finish again, and your record will then be sent to the department to be reviewed. A message will be displayed saying that your CPD record is now being reviewed. Once this is reviewed by your department, the message will change to either CPD assessment is now completed or important, unsuccessful CPD submission. If it is the latter, you'll be contacted by your department to address the issues.